You all wanted the sequel? You got it. Last week we dove through the lore surrounding every single Clone Trooper commander in both Star Wars canon and Legends. This time, we're talking captains. We begin with Alpha 17, or simply Alpha, fitting because he was an Alpha-class ARC Trooper developed following the failure of the Null-class ARC Troopers, at least in the minds of the Kaminoans. After being placed in stasis, Alpha was finally awoken in a last-ditch effort during the Battle of Kamino. During the fighting to push the droids from Tipoca City's central armory, Alpha teamed up with Shaak Ti, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Anakin Skywalker. He was fully prepared to destroy the cloning labs if it meant preventing the Fett DNA from falling into enemy hands. Alpha went on to fight with Skywalker and Kenobi in the devastating Battle of Jabiim, was captured by Asajj Ventress only to escape, and even survived a stab wound courtesy of General Grievous. Alpha also notably returned to Kamino, where he trained many of the future commanders and captains in his own experimental training regimen known as the ARC Training Program, where many of your favorite clones earned their ranks and names. Alpha 98, known as Nate and later Jango Tat, was an Alpha-class ARC Trooper as well. Fighting in the Battle of Geonosis, he saved 5 members of his squad from a Hailfire droid. In his final mission of the war, Alpha 98 sacrificed his own life by calling down enemy fire on his own position deep within enemy territory. Captain Breaker first appeared in the MMORPG Clone Wars Adventures, serving under Obi-Wan Kenobi and Admiral Yularen during the conquest of Geonosis. His armor was very unique, specifically his helmet, with a foldable front and visor which looked much closer to a Mandalorian helmet. Breaker also wore a jetpack and appeared to have some sort of a shield on one of his gauntlets. Captain Burner is another to appear in Clone Wars Adventures, an ARC Trooper who wore red armor with macro binoculars on his helmet. Captain Karg also appeared in the Clone Wars Adventures. He was another red-armored ARC Trooper deployed on Felucia, leading Grawl Company during the Separatists' third invasion of the planet. Captain Caesar appeared in a pair of flashbacks in Yoda comics, taking part in a mission with the Grand Master and Anakin Skywalker. Captain Fordo is the red-armored captain from the 2003 Tartakovsky Clone Wars micro-series. Leading a group of fellow ARC Troopers that would become known as the Munilist 10, Fordo proved instrumental in the Battle of Munilist, leading his troops to destroy an enemy artillery emplacement and then helping Kenobi capture the enemy leader, San Hill. Later, he was dispatched to the planet Hypori, rescuing a group of Jedi from General Grievous, even briefly going after the cyborg. Fordo was on Coruscant when the planet was attacked by the droid army as Grievous kidnapped Chancellor Palpatine. Despite facing overwhelming numbers, Fordo and his men were able to beat back a portion of the attacking force in Sector 4 with the help of Jedi Masters Mace Windu and Yoda. Captain Gray served under Jedi General Depa Billaba and actually has 2 canon stories that contradict one another just a little bit. We'll cover one now and get to the other shortly when we discuss Captain Styles. Appearing in the Bad Batch wearing green armor, Gray and his men fought the Separatist forces on Collar. Pinned down, their reinforcements arrived just in time, coming in the form of Clone Force 99. Just as they prepared to counterattack, Order 66 was issued, and Gray turned on his general. Billaba disarmed Gray and kicked him away, but was still gunned down by Gray's men. But bought enough time for her Padawan, Caleb Doom, or Kanan Jarrus to escape. Captain Gregor was a clone commando in the Special Operations Brigade. He led Foxtrot Group of the 212th Attack Battalion during the Battle of Sarish. The battle proved to be a great defeat for the Republic, with Gregor's transport crash landing on Abafar and the commando suffering from amnesia. Taken advantage of by a local, Gregor worked as a dishwasher until his memory was restored thanks to Colonel Meber Gascon and his unit. He was thought to have been killed in an explosion trying to protect the Colonel and his droid squad in a firefight against Separatist battle droids, but survived, although he sustained a traumatic brain injury. After the Clone Wars ended, Gregor was sent by the Empire to a secret facility where he and other clone commandos were tasked with training the first generation of non-clone TK stormtroopers. Gregor quickly realized he wanted out and sent a distress signal to the clone deserter Rex, who sent the Bad Batch to rescue him. Gregor went on to fight for the rebellion with Rex and Commander Wolffe, dying during the liberation of Lothal, but not before telling Rex that it was an honor to fight for a cause that the clones actually chose to believe in. Captain Hauser was stationed on Ryloth, working with Senator Orn Free Taa and the former Twi'lek resistance leader, General Cham Syndulla, to help maintain peace on the planet. Hauser quickly became disillusioned with the Empire and their tactics, helping the Bad Batch to escape Crosshair and speaking out to his men, inspiring other clones to stand alongside him before being arrested. Captain Jag was a clone pilot and wingman of Jedi General Plo Koon during the Battle of Cato Neimoidia. After successfully defeating Separatist forces occupying the planet, Jag received Order 66 and fired the laser cannons of his ARC-170 fighter at Plo Koon's Jedi Interceptor, killing the Jedi and fulfilling his part in the Great Jedi Purge. Captain Jek appeared in the very first episode of Clone Wars as a member of a clone shock trooper squad that accompanied Yoda for negotiations with Toydarian King Katuko on Rugosa. Jek had an obsession with weapons, always thinking the strength of his team depended on having superior firepower. This mentality was reflected on his weapons of choice, the rotary blaster cannon and rocket launcher. Following the battle on Rugosa, Jek retrained as a clone scout trooper, serving in the Ranger Corps by Revenge of the Sith. Stationed on Kashyyyk when Order 66 came down, Jek attempted to kill Yoda with Commander Gree, but both clones were quickly decapitated. Captain KG is mentioned but never seen in Revenge of the Sith when Palpatine asks for his shuttle to be prepared, sensing Lord Vader is in danger. He could very well be one of the shock troopers seen by the Sith Lord's side on Mustafar, or might be a clone pilot. Captain Keeley served under Jedi General Ima Gun Dai, leading his men during the Battle of Ryloth. The Jedi and clone troopers fought an overwhelming number of Separatist battle droids as Twi'lek refugees and freedom fighters attempted to flee. Keeley and General Dai's final stand came just in time for Republic supply ships to reach the evacuating Twi'leks. Captain Locke served under Jedi General Eef Koth when his Jedi cruiser was ambushed by General Grievous. Locke and his clone troopers were engaged by a contingent of Separatist battle droids, with General Koth ordering Locke and his men to evacuate as he engaged Grievous, despite the clones' disagreements. Captain Mojo was a cold assault trooper assigned to a Jedi task force consisting of Masters Obi-Wan Kenobi, Plo Koon, Bru Jun Fan, Grotto, Kosalak, and Padawan Tatsu, commissioned to hunt down the newly resurrected Darth Maul and his brother, Savage Opress. Ordo Scarada was a null-class ARC trooper, one of 6 to survive their incubation process. The Kaminoan cloners had scheduled the nulls to be terminated, but the clones were saved by Kal Scarada, a Mandalorian recruited by Jango Fett to aid in their training. Imparting to them their Mandalorian heritage, Scarada named Ordo after the renowned Mandalore Canderous Ordo. When the Clone Wars broke out, Ordo took part in many successful missions against the Separatists. He even later married a woman named Basane Wenin. While carrying out their duties, Ordo and his clone brothers secretly searched for a way to stop their accelerated aging. When Order 66 was issued, the Nulls deserted the army and fled to Mandalore with Kal Scarada, where they continued their search for the cure for their accelerated aging and provided aid for other clones who also deserted. Captain Rex. Yes, he was a commander for a very short time, but we felt he fit better in this video. Where do we even begin with Rex? As the captain of the 501st, Rex served as second in command to Jedi General Anakin Skywalker, whose bravery and unconventionality in battle he came to share. He also became close with Skywalker's Padawan, Ahsoka Tano. Throughout his career, Rex proved to be an effective leader who truly cared for the men under his command, leading the Boys in Blue in many battles from Christophsis to Geonosis, Kamino, Umbara, and Mandalore, among many others. The death of ARC Trooper 5s led Rex to discover the clone inhibitor chips, which helped Ahsoka to remove his and allowed both to survive and escape Order 66. Rex joined the Phoenix Rebel Cell, reuniting with Tano and reaching the rank of Commander, even fighting in the Battle of Endor by Return of the Jedi. Rex was originally going to be the same character as Alpha 17, but George Lucas didn't want many of the main characters of Clone Wars to have similar sounding names. With Anakin, Ahsoka, and to a lesser extent R2, Rex was created. Captain Sharp served in the Devil Dogs unit of the 44th Special Operations Division. During the battle on the planet Mimban, he was hit by a blaster bolt in the throat, his voice becoming distorted as a result. Sharp worked closely with Jedi Generals Plo Koon and Kit Fisto during the Battle of Korm, where he sacrificed himself by igniting an explosive round which destroyed a Separatist base. Captain Silver served as a clone navigation officer in the Republic Navy. Silver, in command of a frigate, rescued survivors of Mace Windu's Jedi cruiser after it was sabotaged by Boba Fett. Captain Styles serves alongside Captain Gray in Depa Biloba's unit. This was the version depicted in the canon Kanan comics, which seem to have been somewhat retconned by the Bad Batch. First of all, these clones have red armor as opposed to green. Styles and Gray still killed Biloba as Doom fled, this time at a campsite. The clones caught Doom a year later in space, with Doom trying to explain that Palpatine was the one who betrayed the Republic, not the Jedi. When Gray asked why they obeyed Order 66 so blindly, Styles disagreed, seeing Caleb Doom only as a traitor to the Empire. Realizing the mistake he made, Gray fired his blaster at the ship's controls, taking down the shields. Their ship was blown up, with both clones perishing. Captain Vaughn fought under Commander Rex and Ahsoka Tano during the Siege of Mandalore, likely immediately taking Rex's place as a captain after his promotion to commander. After being lured into an ambush, Vaughn's clone troopers were killed, and the captain soon succumbed to the same fate. Ahsoka Tano arrived at the scene and witnessed the captain's final moments. Captain Wilco oversaw the transfer of the late Count Dooku's war chest from the Count's palace on the planet Sereno. During operations, however, the Bad Batch tried to steal some of the plunder. The Bad Batch ultimately escaped, and Wilco made a report of the incident. Vice Admiral Rampart arrived and questioned the involvement of Clone Force 99, wishing the squad to be removed from the report as he thought they'd perished on Kamino. When Wilco refused to falsify his report, the Admiral shot him. Captain Zack was another naval officer who was tasked with delivering Jedi Grandmaster Yoda and his squad to Rugosa. Finally, we wish to acknowledge a few clone captains who appeared in various novels and would be hard to showcase in video format. This includes Archer, Clymer, 49, Herc, Corbell, Maze, Nilo, Sparks, Spider, and Taito. But which clone captain is your favorite? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to check out our brand new YouTube channel membership for access to some amazing perks. Link is in the description.
Come join us to chat more at our community Discord server, linked in the description. If you enjoyed today's Star Wars video, we've got more on the screen for you right now. Also make sure to drop a like, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe to join the Red Squadron. Until next time, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you. Red 5, standing by.